In this video, I'll be reading part 2 of... Hold on. I gotta remind myself what I called this. Ferbs School Secret. Sorry. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Anyway. So this is part 2. Phineas nervously... Let's try that again. Phineas nervously says, "And where'd you find that?" Ferb explains, "I found it in your backpack. Anyway, why didn't you tell me about this?" Phineas mad. "You snooped through my bags?" Ferb admits, "Yes, but you haven't answered my question." Phineas answers, "Fine, I didn't tell you because I'm not going to go." "Are you kidding?" says Ferb. "You have to go." Phineas annoyed. "You two seem so sure I should go. But I don't want to leave all you guys." "Wait, I'm not the first to know about this?" Phineas lies. "Why would I tell anyone but you?" Ferb squinting investigatingly. "You're lying, aren't you?" "No, I'm not," says Phineas. Ferb realizes, "You so are. Why are you lying to me?" Phineas annoyed. "Like you're so innocent." Ferb informs, "I'm not lying about anything." Phineas mad says, "Oh really? 'Cause Baljeet saw you with a girl a few weeks ago. How could you? How could you not tell me?" Sorry, don't is not the right word. Not is what I meant. There. Could you not tell me about your girlfriend? Says Phineas, angrily upset. Ferb shocked. "I can't believe Baljeet told you about that. I thought I could trust him." Phineas, prioritizing, says, "Anyway, when am I going to meet your girlfriend?" Ferb informs. Oops, forgot a bracket there. Oops. Okay. Space. Whoops. Let's do that. And then, sorry, get distracted here. Alright. Ferb informs, "We'll have to talk about it together, and then get back to you. I just remembered. You haven't told me about the new school yet, and who else knows? And don't lie to me this time." Phineas annoyed sighs. "Fine. Baljeet knows. But it doesn't matter, I'm not going." Ferb realization hits. "This isn't about leaving us, it's about leaving Isabella." Phineas acknowledging, "I didn't even think of that. Yet another reason not to go." Also, same with part 1. I keep putting my hand down as I'm, reading this story and acting with my hands for some reason. And I have a weighted blanket, and it's, filled with either, some kind of rice or beet or something. So when I put my hand down, you might be able to hear whatever is in the blanket that's making it a weighted blanket. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what you're hearing in the background. Sorry. And then I just threw my tissue box out of the way. Anyway. Because it's dry here. Where I am while I'm recording this. Okay, anyway. Phineas acknowledging, "I didn't even think of that. Yet another reason not to go." Ferb informs, "Well, let me give you a reason to go. As well as broaden your knowledge, it might teach you how to stop cutting people off in the middle of their sentence." Oh, that's not right. Sorry, I had to correct that. Okay. Phineas confused. "What? I don't cut people off from speaking. Where'd you get that idea?" Ferb annoyed. "Oh my gosh, you do it so often you don't even realize you're doing it anymore." That is not right. Spell check here. And Okay, sorry. Ferb says, oh my gosh, you do it so often you don't even realize you're doing it anymore. Phineas assumes, I don't do that. Ferb tells, yes you do. That's why it's so easy for me to keep things from you. It's not because I don't want to tell you, that's for sure. It's that you never let me talk. You're always cutting me off before I get a chance to finish my sentence. Phineas not willing to admit, I'm not like that. That's wrong. Ferb says, mad, okay, if you don't believe me, ask anyone else who knows you. Phineas accepts. Okay, I will. A few days later, in the secret room in the school. Ferb tells, so Phineas wants to meet you. Mystery person says, great, I can't wait. Can we talk outside the room? Asks the mystery person. Is mystery spelled wrong there? I feel like there's a letter missing. There. Something was wrong there. Mystery person says, great, I can't wait. Can we talk outside the room for a minute? Ferb happily says, sure. The two are now outside the room. Okay. You know what? I just realized there was now twice in the same sentence, and that didn't make sense. So, the two are now outside the room. The mystery person says, readying herself, I have a confession to make. Ferb allows. Okay, go ahead. Mystery person reveals, I've sorta had a crush on you for the past few months. Honestly, says Ferb, I kinda thought that based... Well, what happened here? There. I kinda thought that based on how excited you were to be my fake girlfriend. Sorry. Though now that I think about it, I'd like it to be real. Okay, side note here. In case you're new to the channel, I do not ship Ferb Nessa. I can't get over the age gap. I honestly ship Monty Nessa way more than Ferb Nessa. I'm sorry if I've upset anyone, but I can't get over the age gap. And the fact that Vanessa met Ferb, and I know they didn't date till he was older, but still, she met him when he was a kid. There's just something off about that. And I'm sorry, I just don't ship Ferb Nessa for that reason alone. Just saying. So, I assume that... So, when I created this character, she is the same age as Ferb. To make it good. You know? Anyway. So, that's just a side note. And just so you know, this mystery person... Not Vanessa. I'm gonna put that away now. It's not Vanessa. It's a character I created in case you missed part 1 for some reason. Anyway. Anyway. Ferb says honestly, I kind of thought that based on how excited you were to be my fake girlfriend. Though now that I think about it, I'd like it to be real. Mystery person shocked says, seriously? Ferb happily says, yeah. The mystery person blushes. The two come back into the room holding hands. Belgique points out, you don't have to fake being a couple yet. Ferb happily says, we know, we're not faking. And we're not faking. Belgique says, well, congratulations, buddy. Ferb proudly says, thanks. A few days later, Phineas is about to meet Ferb's new girlfriend. Phineas excitedly says, I can't wait to meet your girlfriend. Ferb is excited too. I guess excitedly and excited. That I know I spelled that wrong. Okay. I'm gonna let it slide. Ferb excitedly says, "There she is now," answers the door. Phineas shocked says, "May? You're Ferb's girlfriend?" May surprised, "You're the stepbrother, aren't you?" Ferb confused, "Wait, how do you two know each other?" May tells, "We're in a robotics club together. Everything you told me about him now makes sense." Phineas confused. Not confusal. That's not a word. Phineas confused says, "What has he told you about me?" May casually says, "Just that you're constantly taking over conversations and never letting him speak." Okay. Phineas worriedly says, "And you agree with that?" Sees her revealing face. "You can be honest." May truthfully says, "You do have a tendency to take over conversations." Phineas realizes, "I never noticed I had that bad habit till recently, but I'm going to work on breaking that habit." They catch up for the next few minutes. "So, Phineas, have you made your decision?" I don't know if that's how you spell decision. I doubt it. Okay, I'm going to try not to get distracted by spelling errors. Okay, so Phineas, have you made your decision on if you're going to the little genius school yet? Phineas reveals, "Actually, I have. I just have to tell Isabella." Ferb asks, "Does that mean you're taking the opportunity?" Phineas requests, "Don't tell Isabella yet, but yes." May and Ferb honestly say, we won't tell, we promise." May asks Ferb, "Can I borrow you for a minute?" Phineas allows. "Go ahead. I gotta talk to Isabella anyway." Right. Okay. Water. Alright. Phineas allows. "Go ahead. I gotta talk to Isabella anyway." Well, Phineas calls Isabella in Phineas and Ferb's room. Ferb and May are in the hallway outside of the boys' room. Phineas has closed the room's door for more privacy with the call. May tells, "You need to tell Phineas that you're actually talkative. Also, you made it sound like your brother was evil and rude." Phineas, having overheard, "What gave you that idea?" May realizes, "You weren't supposed to hear that." Ferb admits, "I was venting to May after we stumbled upon that secret lair, and you wouldn't listen to me. I kept trying to tell you I didn't build that, but you kept cutting me off. I was frustrated, and I couldn't exactly vent to you since it was about you. And you never let me finish my sentences, which is why I sneak out to a secret room in the school to vent to my peers. That way I can get out my talkativeness before I get home." Phineas shocked, "Wait, have you been talkative this whole time?" Isabella, having overheard, "Finally, you know. Now Ferb doesn't have to keep things from you." So, I guess she was on the phone and he didn't mute his mic or whatever. Isabella, having overheard, "Finally, you know. Now Ferb doesn't have to keep things from you." Phineas shocked, "You knew about this and didn't tell me?" Isabella explains, "I'm sorry. He asked me to keep it a secret." "I understand that," says Phineas. "Okay, I understand that." Ferb apologizes. "I'm sorry for making you out to be the villain and lying to you." Phineas tells, "I accept your apology and thank you for your honesty." A few seconds later, Isabella asks, "So what were you going to tell me, Phineas?" Phineas explains, "First, I have a crush on you. And second, I got the opportunity to learn at the Little Geniuses School next semester. And after a lot of thought, I'm going to take the opportunity." Isabella happily says, "Congratulations on the new school. And yes, I'll be your girlfriend." Phineas shocked says, "Seriously?" "Yeah," says Isabella. The two, Isabella and Phineas, kiss and enjoy being a couple. Everyone's happy there's no more secrets between them. The end of Ferb's school secret. I hope you enjoyed this story. What inspired this story? With the news of season 5 and 6 of the show, I thought what would Phineas and Ferb be like in school? So this was kind of like a prediction for a possible Phineas and Ferb in school episode. I feel like Phineas would be similar to Hank Zipser in school in the sense that he'd be in the principal's office a lot, but not always understand why. Like, he'd be quietly sculpting things with his stationery and getting sent to the office for being distracting. I also think it'd be fun to learn Ferb's secretly talkative, and has just adapted to Phineas accidentally cutting him off mid-sentence. And that's what inspired this fanfic. Now, the original inspiration, what I wrote down, I will get back to you in a... Okay, so I've finished off my water, so I'm gonna have to fill that up before I go to bed. Anyway, the original inspiration was, I thought, what would Phineas and Ferb be like in school? I feel like Phineas might be a troublemaker, but not know he's a troublemaker. Like, he'd be making stuff with stationery, and in doing that, he's distracting his peers. I also think it'd be cool if we find out that Ferb's secretly super talkative, and the reason we don't hear him talk in the show is because Phineas never lets him get a word in, so Ferb's just adapted to that. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching. Edit and final spell check from... I'll fix that later. Okay. Okay. Now I have to go back up to the top here. Okay. Oh, great. I forgot to restart my timer. So I'm just gonna have to... Alright. I'm gonna need to do a little bit of math, and I'll be back to you in a sec. Alright, so it took me some time because I put it into the calculator, and the calculator didn't calculate it as time, so I had to be like, okay. It was like 34.79. I'm like, oh, great. Now I have to use my brain. But anyway, it ended up being, if I did my math correctly, 35 minutes and 9 seconds. So, anyway. Alright. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching.